Hello guys, my name is Darklake, and as you can see right behind me, in this episode we are going to be getting into autocrafting using the most powerful storage mod, Applied Energistics 2. I hope you guys are ready. Alrighty, and welcome to episode 13 of our Hardcore All the Mods 9 Let's Play series. As you guys saw from the intro, we are going to be getting into some autocrafting with Applied Energistics 2. And this is one of my favorite parts of this mod, as this is going to allow us to basically take our basic resources and get autocraft set up for all of them. Now, this is going to be my first time actually setting this up, as I've never been able to actually set this up, as in the last server I was actually having this in, I had a friend set this up, so it's going to be interesting. But I did do a lot of research on it over the weekend, and according to what I saw, we're going to need a bunch of these different crafting storages, which I'm going to get probably a bunch of the 64Ks, and that should be good. And then we're going to need these pattern providers and these molecular assemblers. And what that's going to allow us to do is we're going to be able to autocraft these really easily. And then we're also going to need these coprocessing units. And the nice thing is now, I'm pretty sure it's only in All the Mods 9, but they added a thing to where it now has a in-depth guide for everything. So this process is it's a little tricky, but that's why we're going to be able to do it. So I'm going to quickly cut to where we actually start setting this up. Now, really quickly, I want to showcase this because this is something that I absolutely love about Applied Energistics. And I'm pretty sure it's also in Refined Storage, but we didn't set it up. But we can have a cable over here with a storage bus on this. And what this is going to basically do, we're going to right-click this. I don't know if we can, I don't want any of this, like this. I want to set the priority for this. Oh, here we are. And we're going to set this to a, like a 100 priority. What this is going to allow us to do now is we can actually basically now have access to all of our essences from in here. And if we go ahead and clear this, we are going to see all of our essences in here, the hundreds of thousands of essences inside our actual storage, and it won't take up any of this because that is considered an external storage. And then if we ever want to put essence into here, like if we were to take out a bunch of this essence, you can see that it is 24,000 in there. If we put this back into here, it is still going to be at 24,000, and that is because it is going to, with this priority, be sending all of that over here if it can, which because it's locked, it won't be able to if it isn't already in here. And now we just have unlimited access to all of our stuff from our single storage, and it is incredibly nice. But before we go ahead and actually do that, we're going to make ourselves a wireless crafting terminal. That way we can actually access our ME area from literally anywhere in the base, and that is going to be insanely helpful, as we can just right-click it to here. But to actually link this up, we are going to need to get ourselves a wireless terminal, which for Applied Energistics is here, wireless receiver. We are going to need to, actually I'm pretty sure it's like the sender or something, but we basically need to set up our system to be able to transmit wirelessly. So let's go ahead and set that up. And as you can see, we made ourselves a wireless access point, and with this, we can now get our wireless crafting terminal and can now access our stuff from literally anywhere. This is going to be a lifesaver, as we're not going to want to walk here every single time we want to access our system, and we can set this up to a hotkey to actually open it up. And if I'm not mistaken, I have that set to V here. So, no. I'm going to get that set up, but with this, we can now really easily and effortlessly just access our ME system, and it is going to be so nice. And we're going to craft an infinity booster for this because This thing, as it stands, only has 16 block range. There is a thing in here, and it's even in the quest, that is the infinity booster, and it's not that hard to make. We just need some enderium, but other than that, this is going to be a piece of cake to make, and I'm gonna just craft that off camera. Also, in the last episode, I asked people to give this guy a name, and this comment is the one that is gonna be because it's absolutely fantastic. So there's Barclay. That is an absolutely amazing name. Shout out to this person for the comment. Absolutely amazing name. Now, we almost have everything crafted up here. One of the things I actually want to make really quick, though, is this extended pattern provider, because if I know anything of what this is going to be similar to, we're just gonna want to make this. So we're first going to make ourselves some capacity cards, and then we are going to make ourselves this extended pattern provider. And what this is going to allow us to have is, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it can hold a lot more patterns, and we're going to want a bunch of these, and it's going to be incredibly nice. Now, I went ahead and crafted this ME encoding terminal, and what this basically allows us to do is, with blank patterns, we could very easily just, like, for example, let's have a blank pattern provider for making these patterns. We can just go ahead and encode this, and now this is going to make us crafting patterns. And this setup is incredibly easy to actually go ahead and do, as all we're going to need to go ahead and do is, like with this, we are going to make a crafting storage, and then right here we are going to connect a extended pattern provider, throw our pattern into there, and then on top of this we just put ourselves a molecular assembler. And now what this should be able to do is, if we go ahead and, like, let's say we want a pattern, we can craft one. It'll tell us what we need. So in this case we need some quartz glass, so let's just go ahead and make ourselves some quartz glass, because that shouldn't be that hard to get. Quartz glass. There we go. And just like that, we're going to craft a few. But just like this, we can literally just tell it to make us some, and then like that, it made us some. So that's basically how this system works. It is incredibly powerful. In literally just 3 blocks, we set this up. And this is a lot of storage, and we can get a bunch more of these assemblers. I also went ahead and got these dense cables, as we are going to end up using a lot of this for autocrafting. And just having this all set up is going to be extremely nice. And the thing that's also really nice about this is, if we wanted more molecular assemblers, which we are going to end up getting, we can go ahead and make these coprocessors. And these are really nice because these are basically going to allow us to use multiple of these from a single block. And it's going to be incredibly nice. Now, I see provides 4 coprocessing threads per block. This seems really interesting as well. I don't know how the mega stuff in here works, but this looks really interesting. Again, there's a lot of different mods in here that basically make applied energistics better. So getting to know all of those is just going to be better for us in the long run anyways. So we're going to go ahead and craft all of these, and we're gonna also get crafts for basically all of our essence to auto-craft it for materials that we need, and then we can use those materials to auto-craft everything that we need. And with this coprocessing unit, if I'm not mistaken, we can just put this all-the-modium furnace like this, give it some power. We're gonna give it the augments so that it can actually accept power. And now if we go ahead and put a glass pattern into here, and go ahead and put these glass patterns into here, I'm also going to put the rest of these patterns into here, we should now be able to just request glass by hitting the middle mouse button. Click, let's say 100. It'll tell us what we need, and it should start sending things into here. All right, I figured it out, and now this thing is set up perfectly fine. This is the output, so it is going to output into an export bus that goes into this cable. And now what we can do is we could just request things like quartz glass, start it, and it's just gonna make. And also, in the top corner, it now has an achievement thing, which this thing did not have an achievement for that before. And that is really cool because that means that when autocrafting, I'll know when this is actually finished autocrafting the things for it. And that is just going to be insanely helpful. Now, the one thing I do want to look at is, because this is a pattern provider, there's two different things. There's the mega pattern provider, and then there is the pattern provider upgrade, and then the extended pattern provider. I don't know what this does. This is all from extended, and I don't know what this does. I wonder if you just right-click the pattern provider and it upgrades it to that, which I'm pretty sure that is the case. I'm going to go ahead and craft this mega pattern provider. I want to see the difference. And one of the things to actually make it is we are going to need sky steel. And to get this in an automated way, because the other way you have to kind of do it manually, but we can make ourselves a flux researcher with this. And there's, I'm pretty sure, something in Easy Villagers. Alright, I found it. It is from the Villager Tools mod, which is in here. And one of the things they have is a Grimoire of the Lost Merchant's Guide. And this, I'm pretty sure I can craft it. We just need some cut emeralds, which is really easy to craft. We just go over to a grindstone. Let's quickly grab ourselves some emeralds. We're going to just take that. And then we just put this in a stone cutter, and just like that, we get 10 of them. And then all we have to do is get ourselves an iron nugget, which should not be that hard. We just get some iron, and then get ourselves some iron nuggets. And just like that, we can make ourselves a Grimoire of the Lost Merchant's Guild. And what this is able to do, if I'm not mistaken, is if we take out our villager here, and we give them the guild, which we're going to need to take out the charger, and then we just right-click them with this, it upgrades them a tier. So we're going to need to get like 5 of those, if I'm not mistaken. So we just make 1, 2, 3. Well, we didn't have enough for 3, but let's quickly just level him up. Because all we have to do is just right-click him, and it'll level him up. And honestly, that is so... If I knew that this was a thing back when I was, like, in episode 3, I wouldn't have gone through the extensive process I went to level up that villager. And it's just an insanely nice thing that that is in here. And we can just use this now to completely max out these villagers. Like, there we go. And this is going to give us the trade for sky steel. And that is what we need to actually go ahead and make these mega cells. Well, it looks like I will not be making these mega cells, as one of the things required to make the mega cell inscriber is a singularity, which requires me to get, I believe, 250,000 of a specific item into one of these to make one singularity. We're eventually going to get that set up, but right now, I think what we have is going to be plenty. However, I definitely want to get into that mod at some point, as now seeing the price, it makes me think that it is going to be significantly better than just this extended pattern provider. We're also going to go ahead and max all of these slots in here. We're eventually going to need to get several of these different pattern providers, and once we do that, we'll be able to autocraft basically everything. And I went ahead and got autocrafts for all of these basic materials set up, and I also got autocrafts for these crafting parts. And what this is now going to allow us to do because normally it is a very tedious and annoying process. First, I'm going to get some sky stone really quick and crush this. But one of the biggest things that's so annoying to craft is these individual storage parts, because to make all of these, you have to go through all these different tiers, and you got to calculate how much you need for the next tier. But with this autocraft, you don't have to. We can go ahead and put this skystone dust into here, and let's say we want to craft, like, some 256k, which is going to be the highest that we have had so far. We can go ahead now and craft 3 of these like that, and we can just do that. And it has all of the materials and all of the auto-crafting stuff set up, so now we can literally just have this set like this. And if we head into, like, applied Energistics, we'll start seeing these different components appear here, and it's slowly just going to bring this up until eventually it has fully crafted this. And it isn't even going to take that long, because this thing is accelerating, as you can see, insanely fast. And look, there it is. Just like that. We got ourselves 3 256,000 ME storage components in, like, not any time at all. I love auto crafting. It's going to save us so much time, and we're gonna eventually just get auto crafting for everything, and this is a big step in that direction. As with this, we can set up auto crafts for literally all of the applied Energistics things, and we can just have that going. One of the things I am going to end up getting, though, and one of the things that I'm going to be getting in this episode, is I'm going to get some wool seeds, because we need to get wool, as wool is actually something that we need for these covered cables. And these covered cables are going to basically be what we need to make these dense cables, which is what gives us the 36 channels versus the 8 channels. And we want this. But to get these, we need these covered cables, and to get these, we need the glass cables and these. So it's just a little bit of a process, but with getting this set up is going to save us so much time. And the amazing thing about this is, like I said in the last episode, this works with GregTech. So with all of this auto crafting, we can set this up to work with GregTech and make all of these stupidly complex machines. And there's just not going to be a better way to do this versus with applied Energistics, and it is going to save us hours upon hours once we actually get into GregTech. And getting into GregTech is going to be insanely crazy, and it's something that's looking like something that is more or less going to happen not too far into the future, as now, with this auto-crafting stuff, once we get engineering processors and things like that set up, like, eventually I'm just going to set up these chests to constantly have these going. Once we do that, it's going to be insanely easy to go ahead and get everything that we need. And that is just one of the major benefits of applied Energistics over refined storage. And this isn't that difficult. It looks terrifying at first, but honestly, auto-crafting with applied Energistics is just a must. And while looking at the trades, we actually don't even need to get the singularity, as this trader already has it. So not only are we now going to get all the sky steel that we need from him, but we also now can get the mega cell press. And this is now going to open us up to get into the mega cell stuff, which means we can now actually, not only are we going to start getting into mega cells, which are going to have all of these, which can go all the way up to 256 million storage, but we're also going to look at getting ourselves a mega pattern provider. I'm curious to see how much pattern storage is on it. So let's go craft this. Now to make these processors, it looks extremely simple. All we have to do... Okay, this is so slow. This is why I'm so happy that we have these acceleration cards. But what it looks like we're going to be able to do is we can just throw our silicon into here. And with this, we can go to the next area. And then we get the sky steel stuff. And then all we have to do to make this is we just get this in here with the silicon and flux dust. And that makes us this accumulation processor. And now with this, we can go ahead and make ourselves this mega pattern provider. I am very curious to see how much pattern storage is in here. So we're going to set that here. I have never been so disappointed. This is... That's crazy. This is just better. The extended one is just better. Unless there's an upgrade thing that I don't know of, which it doesn't look like it. However, this does make it so we can go up to 256 million crafting storage. And that's gonna be crazy. And honestly, once we get this crafting storage up, we're gonna do some insanely massive crafts. Like, if we wanted to, we could get this auto-crafting all the way up to the 256 million. And that isn't even gonna be that hard to do. I am a little bit, it is a little funny that this isn't as good as this, since this is literally cheaper. But with that said and done, we're more or less set with auto-crafting, and we're probably going to end up getting auto-crafting set up for all of our Mekanism stuff up here, as that is something that we definitely want to automate, because trying to get the alloys, like the infused alloys, is not the most fun thing ever. So getting that set up is definitely something that we want to do in the future. As well as we need to, in the next episode, we're actually going to deep dive into Mekanism in upgrading our stuffs. And soon, we're going to be building ourselves some reactors. I am very scared of doing that, because, again, it could completely end the run just like that. However, it is something that we are going to actually need to head on and do. However, before we do that, we need to discover the Everbrite. Now, we need to head to the Everbrite for a couple of reasons. The main reason we want to head into the Everbrite is because it is eternal day, which means that our neutron reactors from Mekanism will always be running, and that is what we want. However, we need to locate the gatekeeper over here. Oh, there's a waystone. Perfect. That is actually something that I was going to end up crafting. Now I don't have to craft it. And there's the gatekeeper. And what we want from this guy is we want... Well, I accidentally hit him, so this is a... This is unfortunate. Alright, well, we found him, and now we're going to go ahead and get ourselves this Zeal lighter. And what this is going to allow us to do is in here, there is the Everbrite portal. And this is actually not guaranteed to be the Everbrite portal. I got lucky. This happens to be the portal for my seed. It can either be the Everbrite or the Everdawn. However, in here, you can see it is the Everbrite. And actually, I think I want to, actually, no. Because the only reason we're actually heading into the Everbrite is for the Eternal Day for Mekanism. So we're just going to head into here. And as you can see, Forever Bright, which this area has flight disabled, which that's incredibly cringe, but I'm going to go ahead and look ideally for an ocean. The reason we want it to be an ocean, or at least a very flat biome, is because it just will help us in terms of building, and I don't want to have to fly around. So, yeah, I'm gonna go look for a very flat place to build it. And there's some really cool dungeons here. And that is, that thing was not nice. So, it teleports away. It's fantastic. But, yeah, let's go ahead and look for a very flat place to call our home here. And I found the perfect place to eventually build our reactor. We are going to end up building it here, which happens to be right next to an ocean as well, which that actually is going to come insanely handy soon, and I will explain as to why probably whenever I actually go ahead and start building this reactor and stuff. But first, we're going to just do Everbrite reactor area. Perfect. And now we can just teleport back home, or teleport to spawn, I guess, because I hit the wrong button. But now that we have that, it is going to be insanely easy to just go there and back whenever we want to basically go to our reactor. And that reactor eventually is not only going to be generating us the stuff from Mekanism, but it is also going to be generating the bulk of our power. Because as good as our setup is right now with the magmators generating 20,000 FE a tick, the Mekanism reactors are way better, and the fusion reactor from Mekanism can go all the way up to 200 million. So we definitely want to upgrade to that when we can. And with all of those materials, we upgraded our crafting system to now be like this. And we added 3 more of these molecular assemblers with max speed upgrades. So now if we go ahead and like go to 250, 6,000, and we make like, let's say, I don't know, like, you know what, let's do 13. No. There we go. We'll do that. And we're going to immediately see these go to that, but then all of these are going at max speed. So this is going to go up insanely fast simply because of the fact that we have so many of them. And just like that, we got 12 of those. So that is going to just be insanely helpful, as now with this, we can start to fill up our ME drives. And that is just going to give us a lot more space to work with, and we can even now probably start working on the mega cells. And with that said and done, we got ourselves a lot more storage, including now fluid storage, which I have a lot of ideas of what we're going to be using that for, and it's actually going to help us with Mekanism, because this not only can store fluids, it can also store gases, which means with this, we can basically have our entire fissile fuel generation for reactors completely set up and automated within our ME system. And that is going to be insanely powerful. On top of that, as you can see, we got a lot more storage. Like, I'm pretty sure the total amount of storage we have now is somewhere close to like 4 million items worth of storage, which is absolutely insane. And now we can kind of just have everything funnel into our storage, and because of all of this setup, we have now insane autocrafting, which we can expand upon, and what we're going to end up doing is once we get more into Mekanism, we are going to take these processing units and the autocrafters, and we're going to extend it out multiple times, and we're going to have it autocraft stuff from every mod. Like, Applied Energistics can go through almost every single mod in here for autocrafting, including GregTech, Ars Nouveau, and even like integrated dynamics and all of the other stuff. Like, it just has so much functionality that it's really hard to not want to go with this. And with the knowledge that these storage things can have so much storage using the pattern receivers, it's going to just be insanely nice with the pattern providers to make it so that we can just give our different machines it, and it'll do whatever we need it to do. And it works with NBT data, so in terms of GregTech, we're going to be able to have it completely do everything that we need it to do, including using wrenches, hammers, and all of the other stuff with that, and make all of these different plates, which eventually here soon we're actually going to end up getting into GregTech, as the sooner we start the better. I've just been holding off simply because of the fact that it is a very extensive mod, and everywhere that you look for it, it'll always say to over-prepare, because this mod is insanely hectic and insanely crazy. But you can use it to automate a lot of things, and that's gonna be one of the big benefits to having this mod. And the nice thing about this autocrafting area is we have this entire area to set up autocrafting, and this can become bigger. As long as it is in a cubicle shape, you can extend it as far as you want from what I'm aware. And then if we ever run out of storage for it, we can just make these crafting storage, crafting storage. And it can go all the way up to 256 million, if I am not mistaken, storage. Yes, it can, with the 256 million crafting storage things. We're eventually going to need to get these, but I honestly want to just get automation for getting the Flux smart cables before we go too deep into this. And at the moment, we aren't crafting things that require millions of items, like later on when we craft the 256 million part for the All the Mods star. But we definitely want to get it set up for whenever we do, in fact, get into that. And honestly, just the modularity of this mod is just so incredibly nice. And with this storage system set up and autocrafting, I think that now that because this is all set up, we are prepared for next episode to actually go ahead and get into Mekanism, and we are going to go ahead and make ourselves a nuclear reactor in the next episode. And as always, massive shout out to Furball Rules for supporting us on Patreon. And you guys should go over there now and sub to it, as well, as it not only supports me as a content creator, but it also helps me grow to eventually take this on as a full-time job. And well, guys, that is all the time we have left in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching until the very end. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, as each one of those will be very much appreciated. And comment down below what you want to see in the next episode. And if you guys are new to the channel, go check out episode 1 of this series. And if you guys missed the last episode, go check out episode 12, where we get started into Applied Energistics 2. But as always, my name is DarkClick, and until next time, peace out.